thought for this morning I would do a little bit a little bit different feel because this is probably the last official cool day that we're gonna have in Arizona. So first off, to have weather like this near the beginning of May, like we're normally in triple figures by now. So I'm kind of basking in it, and I was thinking, let's have coffee together. I thought, typically on Thursday I'm taking with me on my walk, which is fun and great, but the feel of a lot of what I'm going after is I'd love to just kind of sit across the table from you guys, whether you're with me right now live or you're watching this on a recording, and just have some coffee and chat. So let me frame this meeting. This meeting, I have these times with you guys every now and then where it usually occurs to me as I'm having I usually have a theme that I'm talking about. Like, last week I was talking about how do you create your passion? Like, if you're like, I'm passionate. But as I'm walking and talking and seeing a lot of your questions, hi Keon, and seeing a bunch of your questions scrolling across, I'm like, that's a great question. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but nonetheless, it's a great question. So that's usually where I'm like, let's just have an Ask Me Anything. So why don't we start off by chatting in where you're from. Tell me what the temperature is where you're at right now, in Fahrenheit. I can't relate to Celsius, but obviously if that's all you got, that's all you got. It is right now in the low 70s in Gilbert, Arizona. So once you do that, let me just wait for everybody to arrive to the live stream. Pedro from Spain, Vinath from India, good to see you. Kian lost his passion wherever he is from. Summer in Israel, Houston, Texas, 79 degrees. Mo, that's fantastic. I have a couple folks in Houston. Oh, it's starting to go too fast. And Ohio, 66. Praveen. Eric in Cleveland, 50, pouring rain. Hello from New York City, Andrew. Cambridge, UK. The UK. I was just talking with David Bumble last week. What a fun place. Well, what an interesting place. We were talking about a lot of how the United States has handled lockdown versus the UK handling lockdown, and oh my goodness, wow. I thought the US was no. UK is a different realm. Let's see. Germany, hello. Poland, 14 degrees Celsius. Netherlands, no, a whole bunch of folks over there. Brazil, Connecticut, great, 60 degrees in Connecticut. Brazil, 69 degrees. Okay, great. Well, welcome, thank you. Let's get started. And Diego, I'm gonna, just because it was right there when I said it, this is where you get a chance to. I'm just planning to be here for 30 minutes till about, let's see, it's 7:45 a.m. right now, till about 8:15, and just whatever you wanna ask, and I'll try and get to them as much as I can. Spring Mommy, can't wait to move back to the Netherlands. I didn't know you were from the Netherlands. Port Shift from Mesa, Arizona. Hey, brother. Right in the, you're probably, stone's throw away from here. So I saw one of the questions. So go ahead and chat in questions. Whatever you want to talk about. And if you have nothing, you just want to listen, that's fine too. Just hang out. So I saw somebody type in, is teaching your passion? I know, it's like, well, that's a good question. Is teaching my passion? So let me talk a little around that. Teaching. So I enjoy teaching. I will say that there's nothing like just chatting with people. So let me say it this way. I would say that connecting with people, uh, adding value to people, um, watching lives be changed in people, and being able to be a part of that story. That's a lot of my passion. So teaching just happens to line up pretty well with that. Yeah, and keep typing those questions in. I'm seeing them coming in. Because obviously you have the opportunity to be. I mean, you have a captive audience. You have folks. I used to come from the classroom. I used to teach in colleges. I used to teach at a company called Interface Technical Training, where we would go into all kinds of places and teach folks. So I found that I have a passion for changing lives, for being used in that process, because at the end of the day, you are one of the only folks that can change that. But a lot of times I find that people just need that kickstart to get going. So the long answer to is teaching my passion is I really enjoy teaching. Um, could I do it full time? I don't think so. Not anymore, because of a lot of the new areas that I'm now in. And just last thing I'll say on that, my journey of teaching, I was full time, 60, 80 hour a week instructor. I would teach morning classes, night classes, high rises, college campuses. I was all over the place. Then I moved to CBT Nuggets. Before CBT Nuggets was a company called KnowledgeNet, which doesn't exist anymore. They were chomped up by Skillsoft. But that's where it became kind of a I don't want to say part-time, but more of a part-time arrangement, where I was like, okay, I can teach online and still have a lot of impact, but I was able to do other things, and that's where I'll bleed into one of the other questions I saw somebody typing in. Where to go? Anida is saying, are you still with CBT Nuggets? And I will say, in one sense, I will always be with CBT Nuggets, because everything that I've recorded for the last 15 years is at CBT Nuggets, and they will always have it. As of right now, I'm not actively creating titles at CBT Nuggets, but our relationships is extraordinarily warm. CBT Nuggets is building a whole new platform, and I may be involved in a lot of what they're doing with that. So yes and no. Yes, I'm always going to be with CBT Nuggets. No, right now I'm not actively creating content for them. Yeah. So that's the best thing that I can say on that without going into all kinds of gritty details. So Farzad, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that. I got hired today as a Skype for Business admin in Microsoft. What do you suggest for me to react in the first month? I'm going to rephrase that to say, what would I suggest you do in the first month? Oh man, this is your time. The first month is where you are either seen as a game changer, or you're seen as a okay, you're now part of the group. You know what I mean? Like when somebody new comes in, everybody, I know you're kind of like, well, I'm new at all this. Let me kind of figure out where the bathrooms are, right? And yes, there will be some of that. But as soon as you can get in, figure out what is the need. That's the thing is, you got hired for a purpose. Now it may be like, hey, you're just here to take calls and support people. I don't know what the position is, but look at that job description, because that describes their need, but that's only their best guess. And job descriptions are helpful, but you have an opportunity in that first month to let people know who you are. And I know you may be like, I don't know, I've got to figure it out. But come in really quickly and be like, okay, I look at the job description. This is what I'm hearing. How can I help deliver that? And keep your ears and eyes open for needs. Every organization, all organizations are big families, really big families. And there's all kinds of dysfunction in every family. So find it and be like, I'm seeing this. Hey, can I engage in that? That you will be, like it or not, you will be stereotyped in that first month of, okay, we now know Fazad, this is where he'll fit. And it's going to be very difficult in the future to break out of that. So you'll either be seen as like, man, Fazad came in, he's hungry, he's a game changer, or Fazad, he joined the team and he's part of the desk, So So keep in mind on that. My family is pleasantly dysfunctional. Good. Would you still go for a CCIE in 2021? This is from Geo. I'm already a CCNP, and the new CCIE has automation, SD access, all that. And yeah, the CCIE will always change. Would I still do it? So first off, no, the CCIE is a journey. Many of you know, I've shared my story. When I went for the CCIE, I had no idea how much of a journey it would be. I thought it was just like another cert exam. When the plane tickets were booked by the company, I was like, oh, I'm going somewhere to take this? That's how naive I was. And I got annihilated on my first attempt because I had no idea what I was getting into. I was like, oh, I guess this is just what you do, right? I was dumb. A year later, I passed the CCIE. Would I do it again? Is this question? Would you go for it in 2021? The answer to that depends on your aim. If you do go for it, you're going to invest a ton of yourself, time, energy, focus on achieving mastery. That's what the CCIE is designed for, and they do it well. You will not have a problem finding a job, ever, if you get the CCIE. You will not have a problem finding a job making significant amounts of money, ever, if you get the CCIE. So that's where I'm going. Is that your goal? Is that or are you more like, you know what? I'm kind of like along for the ride. I want to see where a company's needs are and where it'll take me. The CCIE is a door opener. It is both an accreditation and an interview at the same time. People know, at least if you know technology, if you have the CCIE, that's not something you can just brain dump for. That's not a brain dumpable exam. You will either know your stuff or you won't. All the other Cisco exams that you can look at are something that I've met people, I've interviewed, I've hired people that are CCNAs, CCNPs, and I've hired them, and within the first 2 to 3 weeks to a month, I've had those hard conversations where I've said, you're not right for this organization. I didn't know you would have this much uptick on your learning. And what I found is this person achieved the CCNA, CCNP through unethical methods. You can do that. However, the CCIE you cannot. And so that's where I would flip it back on you. It's a massive investment. I'm talking, think of like you have your full-time job and then toss another 20 hours a week on for a year, then you get the CCIE. Are you willing to invest that? Beats a college degree in many terms, in terms of how fast it'll open doors. So count the cost and find out what you're going after. So sorry, guys. This is gonna be fun. I'm seeing a bunch of. We got to do more of these Ask Me Anythings because that's there's a lot here. Diego, how can you accomplish on unethical methods such hard tests? Brain dumps. That's the story. Is people will invest themselves in buying and memorizing and going through brain dumps. They're not really interested in learning the why or the how. They're more interested on if you were to read through a brain dump and quiz yourself and do a little, say you could probably pass any exam in maybe 10 hours, 10 hours of brain dump study of, okay, when I see this, just recognition. And so it's very possible. It's kind of funny because the amount of time you would invest in brain dumping, if you would just invest that in, anyway, you know where I'm going with that, right? Let's see. Whoa. Okay. I would like to start my certification career, but I don't know how I can start. How do you get started? I would get started. This is a great idea, actually. This just popped in my head. If I were to say, what would get me started? Let's say I'm working at In-N-Out Burger. which actually is one of the top places to work, if you didn't know that. I'm working at In-N-Out Burger. I want to make a career change. I want to get started in technology. How do I get started? And again, this is coming to me. This is just Jeremy's coffee talk. I would start figuring out cool ideas. And this is an idea that's popping in my head right now. This would be really cool. I would love to do this. I don't have the time. If somebody would, this would be a great idea. Create a website that is just fun ideas for your house, like setting up a photo drive where all of your smartphones can automatically, like when you walk in the door, it automatically dumps to a Synology or something like that, NAS, all of the photos and creates a photo album categorization, to where you can easily find a lot of the photos that you're looking for. Or set up a music streaming server for your house. It doesn't have to be a huge stereo set. Like there's a bajillion ideas. And this is the idea. If somebody would create a website with, hey, try these things, like that's where you gain your interest. That's where, if you want to know how did Jeremy get into technology, running a BBS on a Commodore Amiga 1000 was where I started. And the whole motivation was I just want to get more games. I was a software pirate at age 10. What? Yeah, I ran a BBS. My parents just kind of threw me into the bedroom. They're like, yeah, it looks like you're having a great time doing. I started a pirate bulletin board system where people could post illegal games and applications for the Commodore Amiga. And I had to learn it because my whole motivation was to get more games. And I'm not encouraging this. I don't know if I can even talk about this. But the point is, my interest in technology was engaged by just fun things that I was doing. And that's where, this goes to my conversation last week on how to create a passion. Start tinkering. And then get yourself into a place where you just have to keep going. You're like, I'm stuck. I can't figure this out. That's why some of the common interview questions that we ask is, what games do you play? I know people are they're probably trying to catch me, I don't play games. I'm like, well, great. And I'm like, nope, actually I'm looking for a gamer. Vinath, will you drink that full cup of coffee? Yeah, and this is actually cup 2. I have issues. I will admit it'll get to about a quarter full. It'll be cold at that point. And at that point I just go and chug it because it's no longer satisfying. All right. Let's see. Everybody's starting to type in there, Dave. Where do you see the need for blockchain developers in the next 5 years? Oh man. Cryptocurrency, blockchain. So I don't know. Actually, that's one I don't. And so I know there will be a massive need. I know a lot of people are exploring and tinkering with it. Man, if I were to go down that road, I would get into my conspiracy theory corner, which that would be another live stream. So let me just say I don't know. I know there will be a need, but I don't know exactly without going off on my conspiracy theory end of the world and everything else. So Tahi, I'm Tahi. Oh, YouTube, thank you. I'm Tahi from Cameroon, and my CCNA. I had my CCNA in November. Your videos helped me a lot. Thank you. Okay. Now I need your help on CCNP. Sorry, YouTube just keeps, as soon as I touch the screen, it's like, do you want? It pops up the whole screen. I need some help on the CCNP. So first off, let me stop you. Which may be surprising. Wow, check that out. I've got the Shekinah glory coming behind me right now. It's like, whoa, perfect. So first off, CCNA. Now I need some help with the CCNP. So first off, if you're already I'm getting it, go after it. Whatever method you used for the CCNA, use that. Go after the CCNP. It's 3 exams, same strategy, right? But before you do, I would say hold the phone. Hang on. Why are you going after a CCNP? And I know that may sound like, well, duh, because blah, 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 blah. But you have a CCNA. The CCNA is a huge door opener. Will the organization that you're looking for, man, it does look like I'm being raptured right there. So does the employer that you're looking at or is the CCNP where they want you to go? Find that out, before you invest a ton, because the CCNP is 3 times the CCNA, right? Before you invest a ton there, make sure that's where the employer wants you to go, because the CCNA should land you in a pretty good opportunity. So that's the first question I would ask. Hmm. Kian, if you want to choose again your major in IT, what would you choose? Oh man. So some of you know I went after at Arizona State University a major in computer science. That is where I walked away, in one sense, disenfranchised with college, and a lot of you know my feelings, because I was learning programming languages from decades ago, not even realizing that there was literally no connection between a lot of the stuff that I was learning in college and the modern day. And I'm not going to say no, but very little connection. And that's where I stumbled into certifications, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is totally relevant. This can so going back to that question, if I had to choose my major again, would I do computer science? Yeah, I think I would. But with a new mindset. If I were to rewind to Jeremy at 18 years old, my brain wasn't there. I saw no relevance in computer science, in computer programming to the modern world. I was like, this is dumb. I'm doing if-then statements. How does this connect? And that's again going back to my challenge with college. A lot of times, college will teach you the skills abstracted from modern life, and I know that's improved a lot in today's, in a lot, there's a whole lot of stuff around that, but I would, if I could do it all over again, I would do computer science all over again, but with a mindset of like, okay, now I know the needs, now I know what I'm going after, I know what I can provide, so I would probably do that again on that. So do you know if oh my gosh, there's been so many questions. I'm just watching the ticker. So many questions. We're gonna have to do this again. You know what? This may become the normal Thursday format, because honestly, I have a lot of fun doing this and all that. So I saw somebody ask, when will your full family come on the live stream? I don't know. So let me tell you a little story. Why? Let me change the question. And why hasn't my family come on the live stream or anything in social media? 10 years ago, I was 2 or 3 kids into the journey. I had somebody show up at my house, ring the doorbell, and say, "Hi, I can't believe I'm standing here right now. I got all my training from you. I flew in. I'm here for a conference. I kind of looked you up, and I just wanted to stop by and say hi." My wife was standing behind me because she was just wanting to know who rang the doorbell, and that kind of spooked her. If you want to know how to freak a spouse out, show up at my house and ring the doorbell and be like. So ever since then, we've kind of been because my last name is extremely unique. It's Romanian. So it doesn't take long when you start. So ever since then, we've kind of been like, you know what, we are extremely involved in a lot of things outside of technology. We go to a ton of sports events with my kids, and I could just see showing up in the stands, and then there's that guy. I'm like, oh, you followed me here too, and I'm sure he had the best of intentions, but nonetheless, that's why a lot of times you don't see my family. Maybe someday we'll get the courage to be like, hey, here. I mean, a wife, 7 kids. It's hard to be quiet about that. I don't think I've ever seen the outdoor fireplace. Yeah, I know. I actually, in Arizona, we don't use it much during the summer. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot. Let's see. Ahmed, persistent. Fine, I'll give in. Ahmed, any advice to restart my career from scratch, please, Jeremy? That's a tough one. Let me. Actually, I was having a conversation yesterday, and it's a tough one, with somebody who actually worked for a college university. He was a professor, and he's like, I'm ready to get out. There's some crazy stuff happening all over the world, and he's like, it's happening here. And he's like, I'm ready to get out. But he said, I've been a college professor for my whole life. Like, I'm making a great income. I'm ready to move to the private sector. How do I make that leap? And so going to the, I'm bringing that back to the question of how do I start over? It can be difficult because often you have what I call golden handcuffs, meaning you're making a great income doing something you absolutely don't want to do anymore, or at least a decent income, and you're like, okay, if I start over, how do I do that? The best thing I think you can do, and this is what I did with my friend yesterday, is I said, okay, let's go through what you do, and let me see if I can translate that to the private sector. And things that, like he does curriculum, he has, grant money that he figures out how to allocate and appropriate and do research projects and all that kind of stuff. And we literally sat there and I said, okay, well, here's I think in the private sector, the kind of position that would look for that, or we were identifying positions that we could go. So what I would suggest is if you're ready to start over, don't start over. You know what I mean? Don't start over. First off, you're in a job somewhere doing something. There's value in that, otherwise you wouldn't be there. See if there's opportunities where you can become crossing over at that company. I mean, have conversations with your manager and be like, hey, been doing this a while. I'm really wanting to get into technology. Just curious if there's things that, because a lot of times companies don't. So can I talk to you for a second as a guy who runs a company? A lot of times people come to companies, they're like, oh, I'm here for me. And that's okay to do, but it hurts an organization when somebody comes in and just is like, oh, I'm changing careers, and they just leave. I mean, that's like, you're there for a reason, and it's like, oh, now I gotta hire somebody. I gotta train them. Okay, who's gonna cover that while they're gone? It's hard. So it's painful for a company when you do that. So as a business owner, I know a lot of times people are like, I don't want to have that conversation because what if they fire me? What if they're like, oh, you're not happy here, all that kind of stuff. No, please. As a business owner, as a manager, I would want you to be like, hey, let's just talk for a second. How's things going? Oh, you really want to do that? Okay. Here's what I would love to do. Can you start cross-training this person? And there is a need over there. It's funny, the sun's coming up and it's just like, whoa, this whitewash effect is going over the whole thing. Maybe we can do this maybe I can get you over there. So that's one strategy. The other thing, if you're starting over, is to do exactly what I did with my friend, is look at your current skills, look at what you're doing. I guarantee you a lot of that will cross over to whatever position you're looking at in the realm of technology. Try and find some matches to where you can kind of leapfrog. Instead of starting at ground zero, use those skills to leapfrog. So best way I can answer that. Matthew just jumped in. What's your favorite band? Love from Ireland. That's like asking what's my favorite movie. Scratch that. That's an easy one. Favorite band is okay. It's like asking what's my favorite show. I don't know. It's whatever I'm listening to right now. I don't have a favorite band. Although I will say I've been listening to this group called Apollo LTD. They've been kind of fun. My son listens to them for a lot of his. Anyway, let's say Brenton, thank you you've helped me fill in the gaps through a lot of CBT Nuggets training, from the IT expert series to CCNA voice. Thank you, Brenton. Thank you for letting me know. And I it's a blessing to do what I do. So let's see. Karan. Many organizations are shutting down their data centers and moving stuff to the cloud. So you think it's the end of traditional networking? I don't think so. Ironically, we are in 2 data centers, one in Arizona, one in Texas, and they're actually expanding. Cloud is what's hot, what's on. Truth be told, public cloud has a lot of advantages, but so does private cloud. So does installing stuff in a data center. Yes, you maintain the hardware. Yes, you are, but truth be told, you can do a lot of what public cloud does at a fraction of the cost. and you can start creating hybrid clouds. You can be like, hey, I want to spin up, 10 VMs. I'm just going to buy a couple servers and throw them in there. And the return on investment is like 3 months versus running 10 VMs in a public cloud. I'm going to run those VMs over there, set up a VPN bridge between that and what I'm doing in AWS or Azure. And we're going to kind of do a hybrid. So no, the simple answer is no. I don't see the end of traditional networking anytime soon. I do see a lot of stuff becoming automated that used to take a lot of time. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so fun, guys. This is so fun. I'm looking at the time. We've just hit 30 minutes. I'll take one more question. But there have been more questions. I've just been watching the ticking bubbles. There have been more questions, great questions in here that I could answer in probably 4 hours. So let me take one more questions, and then and I see a lot of people. Check out the chat. A lot of people are answering those as well. And if you're watching this on the recording, type your questions in the comments. Oh wait, somebody told me subscribe, like. I'm so terrible at social whatever. So type them in there because I think it could create a fun little community. Okay, so let me scroll back. Scroll back. Let's see. Jeremy, I am Ebenezer from Ghana. Hello, Ebenezer. West Africa, learning CCNA, but I've seen CCNA jobs are not as many in Africa. Please advise. I could see that. I could see CCNA. CCNA is great and still the top certification that you can get. I can see in modern times the CCNA slowly declining because of a couple things. One, the rise of managed service providers. A lot of people I have found are really apt nowadays to outsource networking, to outsource security, and take a lot of the day-to-day in-house because MSPs are providing a lot of the turnkey, like I don't have to think about it sort of. It's kind of like it becomes just an operational expense that I don't think much about, and my IT folks can stay focused. But the other thing is I'm seeing a lot of kind of plug and play networking that works. SDN, it's the death of networking. It's not. It's just there's a lot of simpler configs that have become a lot more automated. And so I think the demand for CCNA, it's not going away by any means, but it should become one of at least two that you get. I would say go CCNA and go cloud. Get some AWS certification. Get some Azure certification. Get some kind of a best of both worlds sort of approach so that you can bring both of those skills to the table. So that would be my advice. If you have a CCNA in Africa or US or UK or wherever you are in the world, that's great. I would now suggest getting a complement, 2 legs to that walking body that can walk into any interview. Doesn't have to be advanced, just something to get you started. So guys, super great. This has been cool. I get to sip some coffee. I get a warm fire, and you guys get to see, like I said, the Shekinah glory rising behind me. So the temperature in Arizona is going to start creeping up over the next couple of weeks. So I'm not sure how I'm, whether I'll be talking, sitting by a swimming pool, or maybe I'll go back in my office when we get to that point. But thank you guys for coming. So appreciate you guys. It has been a pleasure. It's been my honor. And I'll see you next Thursday, right? All right. See ya.